Valiant fans, and welcome. This is Tyson Agler, and joining me is head men's basketball coach Pat Scanlon. Coach, can you talk about how the Valiants did this season?
The goal is always to win a championship, and when you don't win a championship, there's a level of disappointment. So overall, I'd have to say we were a little bit disappointed to not win a championship, and even more so to not get in the tournament and have a chance to win it, because I thought if we got into the tournament, I thought we had a good shot. We had some really good wins throughout the year, especially in league play. So it would have been great to get in there and have an opportunity to do so. That being said, I thought it was a step forward for our program. A year ago now, we were coming off of one of the worst seasons in our program's history, really. And, I thought our guys did a great job getting ready for the season. The Montreal trip helped us a lot. And then we had some really good moments during the season. And, I thought culturally and I thought just as a program, we took a step forward. And now it's time for us to take another step.
One of the big adversities you had to deal with this year was you had to call on a lot of younger players to come up and play some big minutes. Can you talk about those young players coming in and having an immediate role for the Valiants this season?
Well, we knew we were going to have to count on the young guys no matter what. We had such a big sophomore class this year, and some of those guys got some experience last year. We probably called on them a little bit more than we planned on because of Juan's injury and just a couple other little injuries along the way, which everybody has to deal with. But, I was really impressed overall with the development of guys, starting with the sophomore group. Dom Arena, Alex Tucci, Chris Asen, Brian Haggerty, Timmy Quinlan. Those guys really showed improvement from their freshman season. And it's something for us to be excited about. The one thing I'd like to see from those guys in particular is the consistency. Like you saw the flashes of it. You saw Dom have a couple really great games. Alex really put together a nice season overall, but even he could be more consistent. And then Brian and Chris, Timmy as well. And we'll throw Victor Troy in there also. Those guys have such ability, and if they can put in the time this summer and really commit to it, then they can be a consistent threat for us. And then the freshmen were also good. Willie Britton and Javin Barton, as freshmen, started a good amount of games for us. And, if you told me that before the season, I think I would have been surprised to hear that. So it was good for them to get that experience. And same thing as the sophomore group. They had some really good moments. Now it's a question of can they put it together on a consistent basis.
One of the big bright spots for the Valiants this year was the play of your senior guard, Anthony Maestre, who ended with first-team all-conference honors. Can you talk about Ant's performance throughout the year being a big contributor for Manhattanville?
Ant gave us everything he had. You really can't ask for anything more from a player. He did what he always does, which is score the basketball, and he did it really well, consistently. And he did that, knowing pretty much every game he was going to see the opponent's best defender. He was going to get double teamed sometimes, especially on ball screens. He was going to have a hard time getting the ball. He saw a box and one a couple times this year. So, that considered, he did a great job scoring the basketball, but he also brought so much more to the table. I mean, he was one of the top assist guys in the league, one of the top defenders on the basketball with steals. And, the thing I was most proud of with Ant was his leadership. He really, at times when he was struggling or when the team was struggling, he didn't let it show. He really led the guys, and he gave us a chance to win a lot of games. If you look at our record, there were some games we had where we were just a couple possessions away from it, and a lot of that's attributed to Ant and not only his performance, but his leadership.
Then along with Ant, you lose two more seniors in Andrew Winter and Juan Camacho. Can you talk about their impact on the Manhattanville College men's basketball program?
Yeah, this is a really good senior class. Three really productive players over a long period of time. They all produced on the floor. Ant, goes down statistically as one of the best players to ever have played here. Juan Camacho, we lost him, unfortunately, early in the year. But I thought he was on pace to be, a first or second team all-conference player as well. He had that kind of ability. And, he was just a really, really talented guy and a really difficult matchup no matter who you played against. So losing him and losing that second scorer, a 15-8 guy, it's hard to replace, and I don't know that you do that with one person. And Andrew Winter was a glue guy. He battled through injuries all 4 years he was here, but he was just a guy. You knew every practice and every game what you were getting from Andrew. And he had some really good moments this year too. He shot the ball a lot better this year than he had previously, and he was just a guy who you knew defensively, on the boards, and passing the basketball was going to make a difference every game. So losing all three guys is huge for us. It really puts a lot of pressure on our returning guys to work hard in the offseason to replace that, because while we're excited about what we have coming back, we also know we lose a lot, and to replace that is going to be a real team effort.
And you mentioned you do bring back a lot of guys from this year's team. Can you talk about the benefits and the importance of bringing so many guys back for another go-around?
Yeah, I love the guys we have coming back. Really, really good group of guys from the standpoint of their talent, but also their chemistry as a group. Their work ethic is phenomenal. So there's a lot to be excited about for us. But the big question is can this group of guys be consistent? Can some of those guys make the jump to being the kind of players they're capable of and then doing it on a consistent basis? Charlie Nardone had an improved year from his sophomore year, started every game for us. Can he take it to the next level and be an all-conference player like he's capable of being? And then, like I mentioned, with the freshman and sophomore group we had this past year, there are some really talented guys in there. There's good depth in there. There's a lot of things we have to get better as a group. So if they put in the time, then we have a lot of reason to be excited about next year's team.
Along with consistency, where else are you hoping that the Valiants will focus on this offseason to have another run at a MAC Freedom title next year?
We didn't shoot the ball great this year, and we lose, one of the best shooters in the history of our program. So guys like Dom, Willie, Javin, those guys at the guard position have to be able to shoot the ball well from the outside, especially with the way people defend in our league. Chris Asen has to become a consistent knockdown shooter. Charlie, I already mentioned, he's already a good all-around scorer. He's just got to get better at all phases of it. And then the other guys too. So when you lose scoring like we lose with Ant and Juan, everybody has to step up, and I think shooting the basketball is really high on the list. And that's an easy thing to do. You just get in the gym and you get game shots up. You work with your teammates. So that's at the top of my list, along with leadership. There's only one senior on next year's team in Charlie. Everybody else, has another year or two to go. Can those guys find the urgency to play like it's their last season and lead by example? And we'll see when we get back in October. We'll see who put in the work in the weight room. We'll see who improved their shot. And I'm excited about that. And I'm optimistic about it because, like I said, this group has the right mentality. Should be extremely motivated after how this past season ended, losing our last 3 games. Those two things, shooting and leadership, are at the top of the list.
Thanks, Coach, and good luck next year.
Thank you.